Yo, I'm going to be showing you my start to finish process for this illustration that I created, and it's going to be a little bit more of a comfy style video, just me, you, drawing, and chit-chatting. I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions along the way, diving into things like how I went full-time with my art, what are some of my favorite projects that I've been working on recently, and how I've really shifted my brand from being a freelance illustrator to sort of a personal art brand of my own, and what that looks like and what the difference is. So if you want to hang and draw with me and listen to me yap, this is the video for you. Get caffeinated and situated and enjoy the video. What do you have to say? Put me down. Now, believe it or not, I actually don't get that much time to draw these days, so when I have a day that I could just not worry about anything else and just focus on a drawing that I started, I am super content. And in case you don't know already, I am drawing on my iPad Pro using my Apple Pencil, and I'm using Adobe Fresco to draw. I have a very detailed step-by-step illustration process video that I just put up recently, and I also have a video on why I use Adobe Fresco if you're interested in any of that. Okay, so for this drawing, I don't know what inspired me to do this, but I just had the random idea that I really wanted to draw some sort of little structure, surf shack, hut type thing that's really close to the water that kind of has stairs leading up to it. So maybe I saw this somewhere, or I saw a picture of a hut, and I don't know, but it all came together in my mind. I really wanted a waterside hut with a little dude chilling on the porch, and I wanted it to be kind of a foggy, either night or really early morning scene, so it's a little bit dark and spooky out with lots of like green colors. So anyway, that's what we're going for, very early stages, but yeah, I'm gonna go through this whole thing with you guys. I love sketching on my iPad in Adobe Fresco, and I really love the pencil brush that I use. It just feels very natural. Feels pretty much like a pencil on paper, to be honest, and I love that I can go in with a little bit more pressure to make darker lines and then sketch really lightly to have some faint lines as well, just kind of mapping out different shapes and where I want everything to go. And really great benefit of you doing digital work is that if you want to just select a whole area of your sketch and move it around, you totally can. So I sketched out this hut, and then I decided that the perspective wasn't quite right, so I just selected the whole thing and then kind of distorted it to be more of the perspective that I was looking for. So useful tools everywhere. So this video is going to be a lot more relaxed than some of my previous ones. I am just going to be chit-chatting with you guys while I draw. You can kind of take a look at my process and what I'm doing. Maybe you can be drawing alongside me, and we're just gonna talk about all the things. It'll be a little bit more casual and maybe podcast style. So I'm gonna be answering some questions that I get asked all the time, so there's still gonna be value in this, but it's definitely not going to be one of my super edited and educational videos, but I still think there's going to be a lot of value, and you may even like this style more. And I feel like artists are people who like to draw or read or do creative things while they have something playing in the background, so this could be one of those videos that you just kind of listen to while you're chilling or being creative, as opposed to like being focused and maybe even taking notes. It's also just good for me to have some balance in the different types of videos that I create, because not gonna lie, my last two took me a very long time. They were really fun to create, but I am new to this, and so there's a bit of a learning curve, but I really feel like I did a good job, and my last video took me, I'm not even kidding, 80 hours to edit and all put together. So yeah, if you want to go check that out and support the video, I am sure you would find it useful. I really did put a lot of time and intention into it. Okay, so very exciting. This month marks 3 years since I went full time with my art. And that's so wild to me. It feels like just yesterday, but it also feels like it's been longer than that somehow. And so for nostalgia purposes, and also because I get asked a lot, I'll give you a little bit of a background on kind of how I went full-time with my art and what that timeline looked like for me. So I graduated university in 2020. Yep, I'm a COVID graduate, did not get a graduation. And I got my bachelor's degree in geography and sustainability, and I was at the time kind of working in that field at my school. At this time, I was never intending to be a full-time artist or even a professional artist in any capacity, which is pretty crazy to think about now. In fact, I was contemplating going to grad school and just continuing on the path that I was on, but during COVID and just being kind of locked away, I just fell in love with drawing all over again, and I've been drawing my whole life, but this is the first time that I'd ever gotten into digital illustration. And I think I just saw how much opportunity there was in it, and I was having so much fun. I was just drawing all the time. It was kind of keeping me sane during that period, which I think I'm not alone in that feeling. I'm sure art resurfaced for so many people during that time. So flash forward a year, and I am working at a local nonprofit here on Maui, running a youth entrepreneurship program. So basically helping kids sort of establish business skills and just like help define their career paths. I'd help them with their resumes and business ideas that they'd had. We'd create, mock business plans. It was so fun. I just love that kind of stuff. And all my previous jobs had been education based as well. So I just feel like I had this like natural facilitator and educator in me that YouTube is really scratching that itch for me as well right now, since I've been out of it for a while. But that's what I was doing at the time. And while I loved this job, I just knew that it wasn't what I was going to be doing forever financially. And at this point, I had known that I wanted to take my art full time. I had just spent the last year drawing every single day and really falling in love with it. And I would go to work and be loving my job, but I couldn't wait to get home to draw. And I think that was a pretty big indication of how I wanted to spend my time. So at this point, I was working full time, but I was super dedicated to art. I was just in drawing mode. I would draw every day after work and on the weekends, and I was just trying to build out a portfolio. I wasn't too worried about the business side of things yet. I was just trying to draw as much as possible, and I was super committed to that creative practice. And I am not a perfectionist, and I think that really helps me and works in my favor. I was making art all the time, and even if it wasn't perfect, I was just sharing everything. I was posting everything on Instagram, and at this time I had like 100, maybe 200 Instagram followers, slowly growing. I think I gained like up to 300 Instagram followers in a year of just posting my art every single day. So definitely not a huge audience, but I showed up every single day and I just didn't care about the numbers and didn't let it bog me down. And the timing of everything was really written in the stars for me. I don't want to say it was luck because I know how hard I worked and how committed I was to making everything work, but I do feel pretty grateful for how everything worked out. So I was posting every single day and starting to gain a little bit of traction, and my employer had come to me and said, hey, we're running out of funding to keep you, which is very common in nonprofits. Nothing's totally secure, especially because my position was new. And I was informed, hey, you have this many hours left in your contract that we can keep you based on the funding. So I decided that I would stretch out those hours and work about half time to, stay there and make some income as long as I possibly could, and that I would commit the other 20 hours a week or more to art. And right at the time that I had gotten this news is right when my Instagram suddenly popped off a little bit. I wouldn't say I went viral because it wasn't like something I posted got millions of views, but I had a few posts just all of a sudden pick up in the algorithm, and I was just getting thousands of followers overnight, every night, and growing and growing and growing. And I was like, holy crap, I never thought this would ever happen to me. And with that came a lot of demand for my art. So I started taking on some custom client projects here and there and working on those while I was still working at my job. This was around maybe April or May that this was happening. And then in July is when I used up all of the hours and I decided that it was time to go full-time with art. And it all just kind of worked out. But I'm not gonna lie, I made a ton of mistakes along the way, and I have learned so much in the last 3 years. I actually have a whole video planned out on my advice for artists just starting to go full-time or wanting to make that leap and all of the mistakes that you should avoid. So keep your eyes peeled for that because that one is going to be really valuable. Okay, so someone asked, what is your favorite project that you've worked on recently? Okay, so a couple will come to mind. The first is my collection with Rad Rev that just launched today as of when I am recording this. It's Monday, July 14th, and we did a collection of really cool bags. There's like a big water-resistant beach tote bag, a really cool cooler bag with a shoulder strap, an AirPods case, and a really cool neoprene pouch, like for your sunscreens or swimsuits or whatever it might be. So super summery, super Hawaii vibes, and it launched this morning, so just hours ago, and at least at this point it is almost completely sold out. So I'm sure by the time you're hearing this, they will all be gone. And it is one of the coolest partnerships that I've done just because I love the print so much and I love everything that it's printed on. All the bags are super high quality and super dope. And I was kind of just given creative freedom to make like a super sick print and then get to put it on things that I would use every day in my life. So I just absolutely love how these came out. Another project that comes to mind is one that I actually worked on over a year ago, but it just released a couple months ago, which is my artist series collection with O'Neill, which was just so sick to work on. I mean, O'Neill is just one of those super cool OG surf brands, and I've always wanted the opportunity to work with a brand like that. The whole collection just came out really awesome. Like, it's one big cohesive capsule of clothing. There's hats, tank tops, swimsuits, sundresses, t-shirts. Everything was very like funky and true to my style, but still these really cool, beautiful, feminine colors. And I just love how the whole thing came out, and it was so cool that it was co-branded, so my logo and information about me was like all over the site and their page and even on the tags of the clothing. So really cool opportunity for me. About a year and a half ago, I made it a point that I am not going to be someone who is looked at as a freelancer anymore. I wanted to take the reins and become my own artist brand, and I really feel like I've done a good job at shifting and rebranding myself and getting opportunities that align with that goal. I'm going to talk about this more in an upcoming video that I'm working on. But when I first started as an artist, I was really just chasing the demand. So anything that anybody reached out about, whether it was like a logo, a t-shirt design, a poster design, whatever it was, an album cover, I just did that, and I was just taking on all these client jobs. Through doing this, I learned so much, including what I don't like doing and just how I want to spend my days. And I'm somebody who is a lot more motivated when I'm working towards something greater for myself and not just turning over designs for other brands. And that's not to say that I don't still work with other people and make designs for brands, because I definitely do. It's just a part of what I do and not everything that I do. And it's also in a much different format now. I've been leaning into bigger opportunities that are co-branded. So LOINDAFLOW times a certain business, and have it be this really co-branded collaboration that gets my community and their community invested. And it's sort of the artist forward, if that makes sense, rather than someone coming to me with a vision and having me just execute what they want and then leaving my name out of it. It's very about me as an artist, and usually is born from my own creativity and inspiration rather than something that's an idea of someone else's that they just want me to be the person to bring it to life, if that makes sense. I really want to be seen as an artist brand that other brands can collaborate with to create something really awesome, and not just a freelancer that you can hire one time to make this one t-shirt that you wanted, for example. So it's a shift. You can't just entirely change income sources that quickly overnight. It's been like a year and a half or almost 2 years of really like building and rebranding, and I'm finally feeling like all of that's really paying off, because I've been getting some amazing opportunities and just feeling like defined brand within myself. Like, I feel like LOINDAFLOW really stands for something now, and I'm leaning into the education side of things and doing brand sponsorships, and it's just feeling like it's all the puzzle pieces are finally coming together, and I'm really excited about it. And the whole point of all of this and this entire shift in my business is just to be able to have more time to make art that I want to be making instead of making art for other people. And YouTube is going to play such a huge role in that. I am so excited that I finally decided to take the plunge and do YouTube, and I never imagined that my first video would do so well. Like, I envisioned YouTube being very long game strategy. I wasn't gonna have my first video do well. It was gonna take a grind, and trust me, even just a couple of videos has been a grind, but my first video alone is already at like 16,000 views after only being up for a short time, and I got over 1,000 subscribers from it. I'm just like, wow, this is like working. And so I was committed regardless if even nobody saw it, but just the fact that it did fairly well has me even more motivated to keep going and keep helping others. And it's a new way to showcase my art and make whatever I want in a capacity that isn't just like making it for somebody else. It's me making it for my own goals and aspirations and to help other artists. So I'm pretty stoked about it, and I appreciate all the support. On that note, I'm just gonna remind you to subscribe real quick if you haven't already. Okay, so somebody asked, what does a typical day or week look like for you as an artist running your business? And it's probably not as glamorous as you think it is. There are some fun moments throughout the week, and I mean, I enjoy everything that I'm doing typically, but it's not that sexy. I'm pretty much glued to my computer and at my desk for 95% of everything. I do have days that are just like exclusively for drawing sometimes, which is very nice, but editing these videos and working on some other administrative stuff has taken me away from drawing more than I'd like it to. So still trying to find that balance always of being able to create art, but not gonna lie, I love the business side of things too, and I kind of love organizing my thoughts and writing scripts and writing email newsletters and all of that. It just hits a different part of my creative brain. So I'm doing honestly a ton of that kind of stuff usually, just glued to my computer, but occasionally I'm like, you know, screw this, I need a drawing day, and I'll just take the whole day off to draw. I like sometimes doing that on Fridays, feels like just a nice way to end the week. But yeah, as for like a typical day in the life, I wake up at some time between 5 and 5:30. I'm an early bird and I'm an early bird and I love the mornings. So I get up early and I go to the gym and I get my movement in, then I come home and caffeinate, obviously. And then I usually jump into like the most important or like time sensitive tasks. So I'll check and see if I have any emails that I need to respond to or do any admin things like that. And then it really just depends. I wish I was more structured, but I'm just, you know, my schedule's sort of project based. So if I have like a video that I'm working on or a big project, then that's the focus for that week. But other times on a more normal week, I'll have days where I just work on client work and days where I work on just stuff for my own brand or YouTube or my website, my online shop, whatever it might be. So I feel like the weekly focus changes a lot. But then for day to day, I kind of like to start with the stuff that requires a little bit more brain power because I'm just more functional early in the day. And then I'm kind of useless in the afternoon. So that's when I'll do something that's a little bit more mundane or just like creative. It's like you'd think you'd need your brain for creativity, but it's a different part of my brain that doesn't require as much attention. It's more of like this natural flow state and I can be more relaxed and sleepy for it almost. So anyways, I try to structure my day around my natural energy levels and I just work on whatever it is that I gotta work on. And I know a lot of people who definitely need extra help focusing or a more disciplined schedule in order to keep them on track. I don't feel like I'm one of those people. I don't know. I just feel very like driven and motivated when I'm working on my own brand and doing things that I have to do. I don't like things to like linger and stress me out, especially when it comes to client projects and when other people are relying on me. So I am usually pretty on it when it comes to work, and I do work from home and I don't have a problem with that at all. My boyfriend also works from home and he has his own office away from mine, but we don't distract each other too much. I don't know. We're in our grind era, you know, but like not an unhealthy one either. Like we're just so excited to be working on our own businesses and building things, and it's usually what I want to be doing. So wow, I really had no problem just yapping at you for 17 minutes. I can't believe I just looked up and my clips are almost over. So anyways, I hope you like this final art piece. This one is called Foggy Night. I just love this little skeleton dude chilling with his cat and he's got his coffee or tea on his porch. I mean, how cool is that? And I hope you liked this style of video and this format of me just like chilling and talking with you. So let me know in the comments what you think and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!